Great morning, business owners and managers. Wes Walters here. It's story time. So I recently reserved a office space for an event that I was doing for a very high-end client. So I needed someplace nice, and I secured the venue, right? On the day of load-in for the show was 8 o'clock because the show was beginning at 10 o'clock. So 8 o'clock, my team and I were there, and no one is to be found. This building is locked, office space is locked. We're looking through the windows, peeping through the windows. Is anyone in there? No one is there, right? So very frustrated. So at about quarter to the hour, 45 minutes later, someone shows. So I finally got in touch with the owner. Thank God I had the number for the owner. Called the owner. I'm like, hey, what's going on? We're supposed to be open up. We're loading in at 8. It's 8:45. Is anyone there? No one is here. She's like, oh, Jackie was sick. And I'm changing the name of the person to conceal the identities, but Jackie was sick. But I'm gonna send Mark down to get you in, all right? All right, so Mark came. Mark was real thorough. Mark let us in. But here I am, one of my clients showed up, and here I am looking incompetent in front of my client. This is the first time that this client was doing business with me. And here I am looking very incompetent in front of my client, as if I don't have it together. This is the first event with me. And they're looking at, well, man, first impression. We're starting off late, starting off on a rocky foot. So I'm looking incompetent. And I'm looking like I don't have it together. Let me ask you this. Yes, Jackie was sick. And do you think your clients, I want to take it away from me, because I don't want you to say, oh, Wes is emotional and I'm getting emotional. So take it away from me. Do you think your clients give two flying ducks about Jackie being sick? This is not a rhetorical question. I want you to reply in the comments. Do you think your clients gives two flying ducks about Jackie being sick? You know what? So that everyone can get the picture, let's move it away from me. Let's use an example what everyone can relate to. Pretty much everyone on planet Earth has Amazon Prime, right? So let's just say you have an event that's you need an equipment or a piece of merchandise for 12 o'clock in the afternoon, and you order it the night before. It's guaranteed to be there in the morning, 8 o'clock. And the driver to deliver that piece of merchandise got sick and didn't show up in time, and the entire show was a failure because you needed that merchandise to make the show a success. Now, how would you feel? Would you care if the driver was sick? Now, this piece of merchandise that you were waiting for is gonna make or break the show. And they didn't show up in time, and the show was an absolute failure. You literally lost everything on the show, had to do an insurance claim, total loss. How would you feel? Here's what would happen. Amazon wouldn't allow that to happen, because the minute they found out that that driver was sick, there would have been a replacement driver to make sure that those orders are delivered. This is where I find the difficulties with the clients that I work with is, yes, you are a small business, but the goal of being a small business is not to stay small. Being a small business is a good thing. Yes, it's the genesis. I want you to embrace where you are, but the goal is not to remain small. And when I say small, I'm not talking about the size of the company, the number of employees, or revenue generated, because I understand how some business owners don't want to become a conglomerate. I get it. I understand how some business owners do not want to have 100 or 1,000 employees. They just want to get to, hey, $1 million annually a year, 2 or 3 employees, and that's it. I totally understand, because you got to deal with personalities, you got to deal with HR, you got to deal with benefits, you got to deal with, there's a lot of other things you got to deal with when you're growing a larger organization. So I get it. Some business owners just want to remain to a level where they can control everyone, they know everyone, they sign every check, and 3 to 5 employees, that's all they need. I get it. So when I say small, I'm not talking about the size or revenue generated. I'm talking about the operating system. I'm talking about the mentality. I'm talking about the mentality of the person at the helm of the organization. So yes, you're a small business, but the goal is not to remain small business. The goal is to expand your thinking and start thinking like a big business, like an enterprising business. Because I tell you, I guarantee you this: if this was Amazon, and I'm not an affiliate for Amazon or anything like that, so I'm not saying Amazon, because I'm using Amazon as an example because everyone can relate to Amazon. That would have not happened if it was Amazon. So if you're a quote unquote small business, I encourage you 2 things. I want you to comment below for the question that I asked earlier. And secondly, 2 things. The goal is not to remain small business minded. The goal is to eventually grow to an enterprise minded business where you make decisions as an enterprise. Because if you were thinking as an enterprise, Jackie being sick would have been covered. You would have had 2 covers, someone on call and someone to assist Jackie with opening the business. So now, bringing it back full circle, and you land this plane right now, I wouldn't have to look incompetent or inept in front of my end client in that situation. So let me know what you guys know in the comments below, all right?